Hello again, my name is Konrad Kokosa, I'm one of Dotnetos, and today I would like to invite you to the last episode related to the ClrMD pull request that we were recently describing, because in the previous episodes I was describing here the usage of stackalloc and the span, but today I would like to show you the usage of ArrayPool, which is also an important, very important API which allows you to get rid of allocations. So, in case of this code and this particular pull request, we will see a lot of places when the code has been changed like that. Although there was a very simple buffer for arrays that I will show you soon, most of them, and every time we need an array, all those places has been changed to usage of ArrayPool. The API of ArrayPool is very easy. You can ask the default shared instance of ArrayPool to rent an array from it, and after some time you need to release it, because in other way it would be unproductive. So we need to remember to return the array to the pool. But nevertheless, it is a very good way to getting rid of allocations of arrays, because instead of creating an array every time we need it, instead of allocating an array every time we need them, we can simply rent some and after that return it, and the array will be reused every time. So there will be a pool of arrays, they are bucketed regarding the size, so it is very optimal implementation of pooling of arrays. And this is a very nice example how we can get rid of all of this. Then we will see that this previous implementation of the buffer was very simple, like there is indeed a buffer for a single array of some size, which sometimes may be bigger or smaller, but generally we maintain only a buffer of a given size. If someone wants to use a bigger array, we are just creating this instead of reusing the buffer. So in fact it can be really suboptimal way of using and implementing a buffer. So this new implementation, which is using ArrayPool, will be much more optimal, because every array that we would like to get here will come from an array, which is very nice. So we will see a lot of such places that instead of creating an array or getting it from this very simple buffer, we are just renting this, and we are really happy because now we can reuse it, and after returning it we will be just able to reuse it for another code. And the general pattern now is very nice, because when we need an array we are renting it, we are just reading something into this buffer, and in the end what is really important is to convert this buffer to a string. After that this buffer is no longer needed. Maybe also here very important implementation would be to optimize it and use also stack allocations for smaller buffers. Maybe such a change should be provided here. And as a very last example of this nice PR, I would like to show you another thing which is related to using span and getting rid of byte array allocations, because there is such a read method, which is another example of method reading from the memory into this buffer, starting from the given offset. And in case of the offset being 0, the previous version was quite easy, because the data reader was able to read directly to the buffer, because we were just writing to the beginning of the buffer, because offset was 0. But the second case was much worse, because this API and this data reader was not able to write inside a buffer. We needed to allocate a temporary array to save a buffer into it, and only after that, after copying the data from this temporary buffer to our destination buffer, we could get rid of this temporary array. So we were creating temporary arrays just to have a small array to read data into it and then to copy this data to the buffer. And with the help of the span, it looks much nicer, because it is only a single line which is simply writing inside the buffer, because span allows us to represent not only the beginning of an array, but also it can point inside an array. So with the help of this offset field, with the help of this offset argument, we can say that I want to read memory to the buffer from this offset given count number of bytes. So this is important optimization also. And that's all regarding the ClrMD library. Thank you very much and see you soon.